So last night I went and saw the play Hedwig and the Angry Inch at the Boxcar Playhouse in San Francisco. It's on Natoma Street. So the play is set in the beginning is set in divided Germany in during the Cold War before the fall of the Berlin Wall. And so Hedwig is living with his mother in East Germany, and his name at that time in the play is actually Hansel, and he gains the name Hedwig later on in the play. Um, Hansel grew up wanting to sing, wanting to be a rock star, and he always had this deep-rooted feeling, this deep-seated feeling that his better half was out there. That there was another side of him that was out there that he had yet to connect with. So one day he is actually sunbathing in the nude, and an American GI stumbles upon him, and they fall in love at that point. And so the American GI wants to marry him, and the problem with that is Hedwig or Hansel couldn't act like a woman in order to get married. In East Germany at the time, you had to have a full physical in order to be married. So a man and a man obviously couldn't marry, and Hansel was a man. So the big idea comes that Hansel is going to get a sex change, and his mother actually forfeits her passport to him and says, "Cut out my picture, get the sex change operation, and you can use my passport and my name." Her name was Hedwig. That's where the name Hedwig comes in. So he gets the sex change operation, and it's botched, and he's left with an inch of flesh, which is where the angry inch comes from, because he wants to be a woman. He's obviously gay. He wants to be a woman, and the one chance that he got to do that, the sex change operation, it went wrong. So he's left with what is literally an angry inch. It's the point and the root of all his anger. So he finally marries the American GI, and they move out of the country, East Germany, and they move to the United States, and they're living in Kansas. Well, Hedwig finds the Kansas life pretty monotonous, so he starts getting work as a babysitter here and there, and he's actually working as a prostitute at night times, and there's some pretty overt sexual references throughout the play. Uh, so when he's in Kansas, one of the kids that he is babysitting for is a colonel's son, and his name is Tommy. And Hedwig starts this relationship with Tommy where Tommy is like a typical teenager. He's 15, 16 years old. He has a guitar and he wants to be a rock star. We all went through that phase. So what Hedwig does is he acts kind of like a muse to Tommy. And another thing about Tommy is at this point kind of questioning his Christian upbringing. And so there's this whole big part of the play that has Tommy talking about the tree of knowledge, and how God put this tree of knowledge there in the Garden of Eden, and then he punished the only two inhabitants of the earth for seeking that knowledge. And you know basically, how could a God punish someone for seeking answers and seeking knowledge? And so Hedwig renames Tommy, gives him a new name, Tommy Gnosis, because gnosis is the Greek word for knowledge. And Tommy is definitely at this point in his life seeking knowledge outside of his own realm. So the rest of the play revolves around Tommy Gnosis, you know, bringing his music to a level that creates a superstar out of him. And throughout the play, Hedwig keeps saying how Tommy stole songs from him, and this, that, and the other, and he's never acknowledging Hedwig as being the influence of those songs. And then at the very end of the play, it shows Tommy on stage, and he's a successful rocker, and he finally says, I don't know where she's at, but if she's out there, this is the muse that created most of my work, and she helped me, and basically gives Hedwig a full-blown acknowledgement, and it's something that Hedwig has wanted forever, because in Tommy, Hedwig saw that other half that he had been looking for. So the play ends with them actually making up and meeting again and acknowledging each other in a way. Now, I thought that the play really connected to the migrant farm worker's son, in that in the migrant farm worker's son, the father was very traditional, much like the original Hedwig. The mother was very traditional in her roots. The father in the migrant farm worker's son was traditionally Mexican. He wanted his children to be brought up in Mexico. He actually wanted to live in Mexico. He kind of despised being in Southern California for a while. In that same way, he wanted to push that on his son, and his son didn't really want that. And so here we have Hedwig, who has a very traditional East German mother, and she wants him to be a very traditional East German boy. Well, he doesn't want that. So, that's where the whole thing comes in, when she finds that he wants to get married to a man. She just gives him the passport, and she says basically, get out of my life, like take my passport, escape, just leave. And so there's the whole theme of, in both plays, The Migrant Farm Worker's Son and Hedwig and the Angry Inch, of the father rejecting the son and vice versa, the son rejecting the father or mother in Hedwig's case. Another way that it connects is, like I said, the father in the migrant farm worker's son didn't really want to be in California, didn't want to be in USA. He would rather have lived in Mexico and rather have been successful in Mexico and sent his kids to school in Mexico. And that's kind of what Hedwig felt like when he moved to Kansas, because he didn't really want to be in Kansas. He found it, like I said, very monotonous and very dull. So there's a huge connection there of a character in the play not wanting to be in the position that they're in, but not being able to do a lot about it because, like I said, Hedwig was married to a GI. That's how he was living in this country. The father in Migrant Farm Worker's Son was obviously married, and his wife was practicing English, and so his wife was wanting to be there. His son was very urbanized, and his son wanted to be there. So there's, like I said, the whole theme of a character not wanting to be in the situation they're in. The second play that I connected it to was The Basement at the Bottom of the End of the World. Yeah, I think that's right. The Basement at the Bottom of the End of the World. A running theme in Hedwig and the Angry Inch was that in order to get somewhere, you had to leave a part of you behind. The part that Hedwig left behind was his penis. And in The Basement at the Bottom of the End of the World, in order for the two characters who were quite obviously trapped together, in order for them to live on, to move on and cohabitate and coexist, they had to leave a part of them behind, which was their preconceived prejudices of each other's race and of each other's character. So, in order to move on, you have to leave a party behind. And in both cases, that's what happened. So that's my two connections. Hedwig and the Angry Inch was one of the most entertaining nights that I've had in my life. I would strongly, strongly suggest all viewers, as long as you're 21 and up, because it is a drinking club, as long as you're 21 and up, just go watch it. You can get tickets on Gold Star for I think it's $12. It's at Boxcar Playhouse in San Francisco, and again, it's on Natoma Street, 505 Natoma Street to be exact. You will really enjoy your night, I promise you. Thanks for listening.